One afternoon, about a week after the incident, her mother found her sitting by the window, staring out at nothing. Mama Tayo placed a hand on her shoulder. "My dear, you cannot go on like this. You must eat. You must take care of yourself. Don't let this tragedy destroy you." "I don't know how to get past this, Mummy," Tola said in a dull voice. "It hurts so much I can hardly breathe when I think about it. How do I move on?" "With time, and with faith," her mother said firmly. "This is not the end of your life. I know it feels like it now, but you will heal. You are stronger than you think." Tola stayed quiet. Her mother sighed and continued, "I've been married to your father for 35 years. Marriage is not easy. But one thing I learned, trust is its foundation. Once broken, it's very hard to rebuild. However, the person who broke it will have to live with the consequences of their actions. You, my dear, must live for yourself now." "I thought marriage was forever," Tola whispered, voice choked. "I thought we'd grow old together. Now what? Do I just throw it all away?" "That depends on what you want and what you can forgive," her mother responded gently. "Nobody can decide for you. Some women choose to forgive and rebuild, others choose to walk away to protect their sanity. There is no right or wrong choice, only what's right for you." That evening, Tola finally mustered the strength to read some of the messages Kunle had sent. In one long email, he had confessed everything in detail. How he and Said had slowly gotten too close, how an attraction formed that he didn't know how to stop. He admitted that at the party, after a few drinks, they had kissed in the car before coming home, and that tormented him with guilt. The next day, the morning she went to church, while she was away, Sade had confronted him expressing feelings. He claimed he was trying to reason with Sade in the bedroom when she suddenly kissed him and one thing led to another. He reiterated that it was the first and only time they crossed that physical line. Reading his words was painful, but at least it filled the blanks in her mind. He ended the email begging for forgiveness and promising to do anything to make it up, including counseling, swearing on everything never to stray again, and waiting for her no matter how long it took, even if she never took him back. Tola cried reading it, feeling a mix of anger and pity. He sounded genuinely shattered by what he'd done. But a part of her questioned, would he be this sorry if they hadn't been caught? Or would it have continued in secret? Those thoughts plagued her. Weeks turned into a month. September rolled into October. Leaves didn't exactly change color in Lagos, but the heavy rains of the season began to lighten. In all this time, Tola remained at her parents'. With their support and gentle prodding, she slowly started taking steps to reclaim her life. She threw herself into her online boutique business, using work as a distraction. She even found a small shop space in Ikeja through a friend's connection and decided to open a physical outlet, a project to channel her pain into something productive. The busyness of sourcing decor for the shop and setting it up helped occupy her mind. Throughout this time, Kunle persisted in trying to reach her. He sent flowers, she left them at the gate. He wrote letters delivered by courier. In each, he poured out remorse. He also let her know that Sade had left Lagos to stay with her aunt in another city, perhaps out of shame or to give space. He mentioned in one letter that if it mattered at all to her, he had cut all contact with Sade entirely and would never speak to her again. There was one more thing in his letters. He mentioned that Sade had revealed she was pregnant, but after what happened, she decided not to keep the baby and had already left to seek a fresh start elsewhere. Tola read that line over and over, shocked. So there had been a pregnancy, or at least a possibility of one, that ended. She felt sorrow at the thought of an innocent life caught in this mess, yet also relief. How much more complicated and painful it would have been if a child had resulted. When she shared this news with her mother, Mama Tayo sighed deeply. "Ah, children, see what you almost brought into this world. Chaos. May God forgive them." It was a lot for Tola to process, and it added another layer to her emotional journey. Sadness and a bit of guilt, too. Despite everything, the thought of Sade going through that alone tugged at her empathy. I've been coming here every day for a week, hoping to catch you when you're free, he said softly. I heard from Kemi that you opened this shop. It looks great. She nodded, unsure what to say. How have you been? He let out a sad chuckle. Not well, but that's my own doing. I actually started seeing a therapist. I had to make sense of why I ruined the best thing in my life. He paused. I miss you. Every day. Tola looked away, swallowing the lump in her throat. Kunle, I'm glad you're getting help. I am. But what do you want me to say? He stepped a bit closer, not too near, respecting her space. I don't expect anything. I just wanted to see you, to tell you in person how profoundly sorry I am. I know words are empty after what I did, but I need you to know that no matter what, I'll carry this regret forever. You didn't deserve any of it. She met his eyes finally. She saw genuine remorse and suffering there. This was not the confident, cheerful Kunle she once knew. He was a man humbled by his mistakes. I know you're sorry, she said quietly, and I believe you regret it deeply. His eyes lit with a small hope at her words, but she continued. But you broke something, Kunle. You broke something in me, in us. I can't just glue it back together on apology alone. I'm still very hurt. Gradually, the raw anguish in Tola dulled into a quieter pain. She could now go a day without breaking down. She even smiled occasionally, though her eyes still held sadness. Through prayer and support, she started to mend her heart piece by piece. The betrayal had taught her harsh lessons about trust, but it also taught her about herself, her resilience, her capacity to survive pain. One late afternoon, about 2 months after the incident, as she was closing up her newly opened boutique, she saw a familiar figure standing hesitantly by the doorway. It was Kunle. He looked thinner and had dark circles under his eyes, as if he hadn't been sleeping well. The moment she saw him, her heart skipped with a jumble of feelings: love, hurt, longing, anger. He gave a small, cautious smile. Hi, he said quietly. Hi, she replied, just as quietly. She hadn't seen him in person since that dreadful day, and seeing him now, looking so broken, nearly unraveled her. But she steadied herself. I've been coming here every day for a week, hoping to catch you when you're free, he said softly. I heard from Kemi that you opened this shop. It looks great. She nodded, unsure what to say. How have you been? He let out a sad chuckle. Not well, but that's my own doing. I actually started seeing a therapist. I had to make sense of why I ruined the best thing in my life. He paused. I miss you. Every day. Tola looked away, swallowing the lump in her throat. Kunle, I'm glad you're getting help. I am. But what do you want me to say? He stepped a bit closer, not too near, respecting her space. I don't expect anything. I just wanted to see you, to tell you in person how profoundly sorry I am. I know words are empty after what I did, but I need you to know that no matter what, I'll carry this regret forever. You didn't deserve any of it. She met his eyes finally. She saw genuine remorse and suffering there. This was not the confident, cheerful Kunle she once knew. He was a man humbled by his mistakes. I know you're sorry, she said quietly, and I believe you regret it deeply. His eyes lit with a small hope at her words, but she continued. But you broke something, Kunle. You broke something in me, in us. I can't just glue it back together on apology alone. I'm still very hurt. He nodded, tears brimming. I understand. I don't deserve anything from you. I just wanted you to know that no matter what, I'll always love you, and I'll always be sorry, and I'll always cherish what we had. There was a heavy silence. The sun was setting, golden light streaming in and illuminating them in the little boutique filled with colorful dresses and accessories. This place of new beginnings for her was now the stage for an ending, or perhaps an epilogue. I cared about Sade as a friend, Tola said suddenly, surprising herself. She was like a sister to me. but I never for a moment saw her as anything but that. I still can't fathom how you two. She trailed off, shaking her head, tears in her eyes. I'm not sure what happens next, she said finally, voice trembling slightly. I'm taking things day by day. You'll always be a part of me, Kunle, but I don't know if I can be with you again. Not now. Maybe not ever. I just don't know. He bit his lip and nodded slowly, tears falling. I understand. I came here prepared for that. I won't push you. Even if you never come back to me, I just pray you find happiness again, with or without me. I pray one day you can forgive me in your heart, even if we're apart, so that you don't carry bitterness. You deserve peace. She appreciated that. In fact, forgiveness had been a recurring theme in her prayers recently. Not for his sake, but for hers, so she could heal. I am working on that, she admitted. It's hard, but I don't want to hate you or Sade forever. The anger only eats me up inside. I want to let it go, in time, and be free. He managed a sad smile. You always had a beautiful heart, more than I ever deserved. Kunle rubbed his face. It baffles me too. I allowed momentary attraction and emotional confusion to overpower my sense of right and wrong. It was never about lacking anything with you. You are everything to me, you always were. I was just stupid, and I will curse myself for it every day. She took a deep breath, steadying herself. I need to know, did you ever really love her? No, he answered immediately. I thought I might have feelings, but it wasn't love. It was just a stupid crush and flattery and, I don't know, a selfish part of me that liked the attention. I was a fool. Real love is what I have for you. I only realized the difference when I destroyed the real thing for something empty. Tola closed her eyes as a tear rolled down. As much as those words might seem comforting, they also hurt. If he truly loved her, how could he have risked it? But human hearts are flawed, she knew. I'm not sure what happens next, she said finally, voice trembling slightly. I'm taking things day by day. You'll always be a part of me, Kunle, but I don't know if I can be with you again. Not now. Maybe not ever. I just don't know. He bit his lip and nodded slowly, tears falling. I understand. I came here prepared for that. I won't push you. Even if you never come back to me, I just pray you find happiness again, with or without me. I pray one day you can forgive me in your heart, even if we're apart, so that you don't carry bitterness. You deserve peace. She appreciated that. In fact, forgiveness had been a recurring theme in her prayers recently. Not for his sake, but for hers, so she could heal. I am working on that, she admitted. It's hard, but I don't want to hate you or Sade forever. The anger only eats me up inside. I want to let it go, in time, and be free. He managed a sad smile. You always had a beautiful heart, more than I ever deserved. For a moment they simply looked at each other. So much love and pain and history between them. Finally, Tola spoke softly. I won't say we'll get back together, but I also won't say never. I need more time to find myself again. Maybe, in the future, if I ever do decide to try again, it would have to be a completely new start. But don't wait for me. I think we both need to heal separately. Kunle's shoulders shook as he tried not to break down. I understand, he repeated, voice thick. Even if we walk separate paths, I'll always be sorry, and I'll always cherish what we had. With that, Tola gently walked him to the door. It was one of the hardest things to watch him leave, because despite everything, a part of her still loved him deeply. But she knew she loved herself too, and she had to protect her heart now. As Kunle stepped out into the evening and whispered a final, I'm sorry, she nodded and softly closed the door behind him. Inside the quiet shop, Tola exhaled a shaky breath. Strangely, she felt a small weight lift off her. Facing him and expressing her feelings had been a needed release. She had not crumbled. She had stood firm in her truth. She realized that was part of her growth. learning to assert her needs and boundaries even when her heart was pulled in another direction. That night, back at her parents', Tola slept without crying for the first time since the betrayal. She wasn't fully okay. There were still many painful days ahead, she knew, but she had survived the worst of the storm. Over the next weeks, she focused on her shop, finding satisfaction as sales slowly picked up and customers complimented her designs. She went out occasionally with a few friends, regaining a bit of social life, although she was wary of deep friendships for now. Trust would take time to rebuild in her relationships. One weekend, she found herself organizing her phone gallery and came across old photos of her, Kunle and Said, smiling at the beach, celebrating birthdays, the wedding day. It hurt to see, but she didn't delete them. Instead, she created a folder and tucked them away. They were memories of a time when things were innocent and good. She decided she would not let the betrayal completely tarnish the good times that preceded it. Those memories were real, even if later events had cast them in a different light. In her heart, she began to forgive, not to excuse the actions, but to let go of the poisonous resentment. She whispered a prayer one night for both Kunle and Sade, that they find their right paths and learn from this. It was not easy, but each time she did it, she felt a bit more free. About 6 months after leaving her matrimonial home, Tola revisited it, just once. Kunle was not there. He had informed her through her lawyer, as they began quietly arranging a legal separation, that he would be traveling for work so she could come collect her remaining belongings without seeing him if she wished. She did so, walking through the rooms that had once been filled with love and laughter. It was painful, but also gave her closure. The house felt empty, like a shell. She realized it wasn't the walls that made a home, but the people. And once trust was broken, the warmth of that home had vanished. She took what she needed and left the keys on the table, knowing she wouldn't be coming back to live there. Whether she and Kunle ever reconciled in the distant future remained uncertain, but the chapter of their idyllic early marriage was closed. Stepping out of that house for the last time, Tola felt both sorrow and a strange sense of relief. She had faced the worst and survived. Now her life was hers to rebuild as she saw fit. That evening, watching a Lagos sunset from her parents' balcony, she felt a glimmer of hope. The sky was painted in hues of orange and pink, the stormy clouds long gone. In that moment of peace, she realized that though she had been deeply hurt, she was not defeated. She would love and trust again, cautiously, yes, but she knew she still had a lot of love to give. Most importantly, she had learned to love herself enough to walk away from what wounded her. Her journey had taken a turn she never expected, but it taught her invaluable lessons about friendship, temptation, and the strength that comes from overcoming betrayal. With time, she would be okay. Moral: betrayal by those closest to us can break our hearts, but it also teaches us invaluable lessons. Be careful whom you trust completely, and never ignore the importance of boundaries in relationships. When trust is broken, it may be repaired or it may lead to a new path, but what truly matters is valuing yourself, learning from the pain, and growing stronger. True loyalty and honesty are priceless. Cherish them, and remember that even after the deepest hurt, you have the strength to heal and find happiness again. Thank you for watching this story on Afro Tales TV. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, leave us a comment, and share with friends and family. We have more beautiful stories coming your way, so subscribe and stay tuned. See you in the next one.